How can public speaking help your career? Imagine you're giving a presentation, you're speaking in a meeting, people are listening to you, and you're that leader that they're listening to going, wow, this person really knows what they're talking about. That's how this can help your career. Communication skills, getting better on stage, in cameras, in front of people, all of these types of things can help you as you accelerate your career. I'm Jason Hewlett. I'm excited to teach you some of the best tips and tricks for how you can do this, as why it's important for your public career. Learning how to be a speaker actually builds confidence and presence in such a way that it accelerates our leadership capability. What I've seen about some of the great speakers or leaders that I've been around is that they know how to communicate their thoughts, and they're able to inspire the troops. Even when the chips are down and business isn't going well, they can still get everybody excited. At the same time, they have the ability to make us feel like we need to step up, that maybe if the sales are down, that we can get to a place of even being our best selves. A speaker is somebody who transforms the way that we think about ourselves and our own capability. And so this gives you a chance in your own career as you start to work at this one amazing communication skill in order to ramp up your ability to have more opportunities, to have people look at you and say, wow, I want to follow that person. And you know, not everybody's going to get a standing ovation wherever they go, but in the meetings that you're in the times and places where you have conversations, you can tell when you've connected with somebody, and learning how to be a public speaker can amplify that. What's cool about this is it establishes authority and that you're an expert. When you're an expert in something, that allows you to be able to communicate it even better as a speaker. And so when you are in a situation where somebody isn't quite sure about how to do it and you say, oh, that's my expertise. If you can articulate it well, then you're going to be rising in the ranks really quickly, because they can say, oh, we can trust them in front of a camera, on the phone, on the stage. All of these types of things matter. You know, we live in a visual world. Videos matter. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't work at this as a skill. In fact, the reason that I'm making these videos outside of just wanting to share with you what I've learned through all my years as a public speaker is I want to become better at being on video. And so by investing in making the time and doing this, I'm working at becoming better too. At the same time, we're both improving. I think that's a wonderful thing. What I'd recommend you do in terms of establishing for yourself this type of credibility, it would be to go and start networking with other people who are working at being better speakers. So navigate around the different types of opportunities that you have to connect with people that are speakers, other leaders. There are join-ups and meetups with different types of meetings that could be really cool. There's one in Utah called Tribe House that I appreciate. Tribe House is a bunch of entrepreneurs that all come together, and they actually sit and talk about their pitches and what makes them unique in their business. And so they're getting a chance, almost like speed dating, to talk to other entrepreneurs all the time. And that gives them the chance to give their pitch, to share what makes them unique, to share about their business. The more we articulate it, the more we state it, the better we'll be in terms of selling it. I would also recommend you consider looking at the National Speakers Association, which has the acronym of NSA. So these are the speakers though, not the ones that listen. So NSA is one of my favorite places to go because they have chapters in every single state, and they teach you how to speak better. A lot of people come to those meetings not to become a professional speaker, but rather to amplify their own career, to get to another level, because communication skills matter. So go check out your local chapter of NSA. This is another way of enhancing your communication skills. When it comes to becoming a better speaker, a lot of people think, oh, that's just somebody memorizing a speech. Well, in reality, the best speakers are people that are working really hard to be great people. And so when it comes to enhancing that communication skill, that ability to share that which makes you uniquely who you are, you have more chance for influence. When it comes to communication, that's not just spitting something out. It's not just saying something. I like to say that I make a living as a speaker, but I make a life as a listener. And so I'm actively listening all the time, trying to figure out my better communication skills in order to run a meeting more effectively, let's say. For example, I'm the president of multiple organizations all at the same time. I have to put together the agendas and think through the different strategies that we want to talk about on the call or on the meetings that we have. This is a tricky thing for me because I have so many irons in the fire. Now, I also have to communicate with all the different personalities and people that have their say, and I have to kind of cultivate everything down into one space and say, okay, we're going to communicate it this way so that the entire body and organization understands it in one clear example. Unfortunately, sometimes I miss the mark, and it's mostly because I have not communicated enough. When I communicate properly, it's because I've made a video, I've shared the minutes or the outline, I've also given the opportunity to everyone else to say what they need to say, and I coach them along. I say, it'd be best to do this in 2 to 3 minutes in our meeting unless you need more time. Can you tell me how much you need? Other times I'll outline what I think would be the 5 best things they could talk about, and then I'll actually walk them through how they could sell it in the meeting or on the call. This actually allows them to see that I have their best interest at heart. This helps me to lead other people, but also helps them to rise to the occasion, to stand out in the meeting, and so that they feel better about themselves. And I'm teaching them communication skills while they're equally teaching me how to lead in an organization as such. So public speaking helps you in your career because it also helps you amplifying your personal brand. Yeah, don't we all want to build up our brand? I mean, regardless of whether you think you're going to be in this job that you're in for now or forever, well, guess what? You continually morph that brand and shift things around, continue to improve upon your communication skills, your leadership. People are going to see that and they'll associate that with your personal brand. When we talk about personal branding, this is a really exciting subject for me because I've been selling myself now for 25 plus years as a speaker and a performer all over the world. And so when you think about your own personal brand, what is it? What are your signature moves that somebody would hire you for? What is your expertise and how do you show up in every single circumstance? What's your attitude like? Because they'll talk about you when you leave. I call it signature moves because everyone has signature moves. When we think about the great performers of all time, all the legends have signature songs, signature hits, and signature moves. What are yours? As you start to figure it out, I hope that you'll also share about it online, because it's one thing to share it in a meeting with your peers and the people you work with. It's a whole other animal when you go online and you commit to that. Then you start to branch out into the world a bit more. You're not just in the silo of your work every single day or the organizations you serve, but rather the whole world starts to see what you're about. It's your brand, it's your personal excellence. I call it signature moves because you have it and you need to share it. If you're not quite sure what yours are, that's okay. I've created an assessment form that will help you. If you go to jasonhewlett.com/ICM, this is a very cool process, the ICM process, that you can take this assessment and figure out what your signature moves are. So, have you identified what makes you unique? Have you clarified that which others see in you and magnified it with the world? That's what ICM stands for. As you fill out this assessment, as you start to implement it into your daily life, everyone will see that your personal brand means something, and they might invite you to come speak. They might invite you to a new position in your career and opportunities. Every single one of us have a chance to do that if we're willing to dive into figuring out our signature moves. So go check out jasonhewlett.com/ICM.